let's say you're going on a listing appointment, and you walk in with your little listing appointment book, all right? And you try to interest them in listing their house with Culture Estate. But there's one problem. What's the problem? They don't know who you are. They don't know squat about you. Now, I look down the line today and I see no name tag, 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 no name tag. Hell, I don't know who anybody is in here. All right? One name tag. And he doesn't go on listing appointments.
I don't have one yet.
You don't have one yet. Well, let me tell you something. And we started this with, last summer when we started. The name tag goes on. When you're in the business, the name tag goes on. All right? Now, remember I told you wear it on your pajamas? All right? And you take it off your pajamas in the morning and put it on whatever you're going to wear that day. But you wear a name tag all the time. How many of you can hand me a business card right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, well, have 5 or 6 of you. The rest of you will probably say, on my business card, it's in the car. All right? It's in the box. Those business cards do you absolutely no good in that box. None whatsoever. And those of you that did this before said, I told you, a guy taught me one time, put 10 of those in your pocket when you get ready to leave every morning. At the end of the day, if you got 3 or 4 of them left in your pocket, roll your car window down and throw them out in the street. Why?
Better than sitting in your pocket.
Better than your pocket, absolutely. Better than in your pocket. No, and that's, I'm joking around about that, but that's the truth. People gotta know who you are and the fact that you're in this business. How many times have you heard you ask somebody what they do and they say, I'm in real estate. Now what does that mean? Tell me what in real estate means. Anybody?
Could mean a myriad of things.
Sure it could. You're in the mortgage business, right?
But I'm also in real estate.
Yeah, but I'm in the mortgage business. What's that mean? Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what you do. And when you tell me I'm in real estate, I mean, I own a house, so I guess I'm in real estate, right? All right? No, you got to be able to talk about yourself. You got to have a resume. If I were doing this, when we put this portfolio together, I would have a section of my own that I could slot right in the front of it about my resume and who I am, etc., etc. Hey, you're late.
My apologies.
Yeah. The sun shines bright and all that stuff. All right? So we're going to give you today ideas about a personal resume and how to talk about yourself and get people to talk to you. When you go on a listing appointment, it says it's a job interview and they got to like you professionally. It's a job interview. That's all this is. Oh, I got a listing appointment today. You should be saying, I got a job interview today. That's all it is. It's a job interview. All right? Any other job interview you ever went on, I bet you had a resume, didn't you? So why not have a resume for this one? Easy enough? Easy enough. 'Cause I don't know you. I'm Mr. Home Seller out here, and you're coming over here going to tell me how this new little company is going to sell my house. Right? And I don't even know who you are. And I have built no rapport with you up to this point other than my name is Tom Alibaugh and here's my business card. Other than that, I don't know squat about you. Okay, so here we go. Let's just talk about some things. And this is on the handout. Most of it is anyway. People buy people before they buy Culture Estate and the marketing plan. That's absolutely true. If I don't like you when you come in there, I don't give a daggone what you tell me. Oh, we'll list your house for 2%. I don't care. I'm still not going to list it with you. All right? Because I don't like you. Have you ever been in the store and we're going to buy something and you didn't buy it because you didn't like the person that waited on you? All of you have probably, right? Everybody has. Everybody has. I don't like you professionally. I don't know you, but I don't like you professionally. So what are we going to do with that? Well, we got to have a way to try to get them to like us professionally. All right? Biggest thing, one of the biggest things, look for common ground. Always be trying to develop a little rapport through common ground of some kind. Now, there's different ways to do that. You're from Portugal, right?
Yes, sir.
Where's Portugal?
Europe.
Europe. Yes. Right next to Spain, right? Little small country right next to Spain.
Yeah, small
Never
but
been.
mighty.
Never been. All right, it's got, hey, huh? What'd you say?
Small but mighty.
Small but mighty. But anyway, did we just start to build a little rapport?
We started building rapport when I told you that I used to be on the farm as well.
That's right, we did. We absolutely did. We talked a little bit about farming. She grew up on a little farm.
I did.
I grew up on 550 acres, and all you could see was grass and cows and corn and all that. And
It was Portugal. It was grapes with me.
yeah, it was grapes. Well, that's not really a farm. That's just drinking, I think.
But there was cows. There was milking.
All right, okay. Hey, I told everybody. Everybody says I grew up on a farm. First thing I say, yeah, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. When I was 8 years old, I was milking cows. All right, and then at 8 o'clock in the morning, I caught the bus to school, and all of that. Okay, so here we go. Look for common ground. What's the first one say there? Where were you born? And you said, I'm from Portugal a while ago. She started off with, I was born in Portugal. She started off with that. Where were you born? Where were you born?
Philippines.
Philippines. Where were you born?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Where were you born? Good old USA, right?
Portugal.
Huh?
Hi.
Yeah. Where were you born, Heidi?
Manhattan.
Manhattan. Oh my God.
She's fancy.
Yeah, she's big time. She's never seen it. She's never seen anything. All right, where were you born? Poland? Okay, there you go. Hey, where were you born? Where were you two born?
I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my wife was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she grew up.
General?
Huh? Yeah.
Yep.
Sure enough. Yeah. So we can talk about something like that. But here, I'm just giving you ideas today of things that you can put in your resume. You got a resume?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Where were you born?
Where was I born?
Yeah.
In Colombia.
In who?
Colombia?
Colombia?
Yes.
South America?
Yep.
Okay. Right next to Venezuela, right?
Yep.
Okay. Right north of Brazil. Right north of Brazil, right? Yeah. Northwest of Brazil. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you gotta know where they're from. You gotta be able to talk about something. See. All right. So here we go. Little handout, honey. Personal resume. I don't care what you got, what you talk about. If you can't make me like you professionally, I'm not going to list my house with you. Where were you born? You can talk about that. Where you grew up? There's another one up there. Where you grew up? I just told you about me. I grew up on a farm in the country. 10 miles from the closest grocery store. Didn't make any difference. All right, that's another thing you can put down there. Talk about where you grew up. All right? Talk about, what's another thing talks about up here? Oh, yeah, well, how about where you went to high school? Did you do anything in high school?
I was a nerd.
Huh?
I was a nerd. I did really good.
Okay, hey, I wasn't a nerd. What'd you do in high school? Played baseball. Can we talk about baseball? I never played, but can we talk? Huh? Yeah, sure we can. Sure. But all we're trying to do, Harry, what we're talking about is trying to build a little rapport with the seller when you go on a listing appointment.
Sure.
Because if I don't like you, I ain't going to list with you.
Absolutely.
Okay? So here we go. What'd you do in high school? I can talk about sports and playing in the band. I was probably the first person in the state of Virginia that ever threw a touchdown pass in the first half. And in my football uniform, played trumpet in the band at the halftime show. I was probably the only one that ever did that, maybe. But that's something to talk about. All right? So, okay. Where you live now? Boy, there's a town here, and across the street's another town, and another town. One side of the street is Westfield, one side of the street is Scotch Plains and all that sort of stuff. Where you live now? Can you talk about where you live now? You think you might find somebody that either grew up or has been to or is familiar with where you live now? I mean, like I said, I live in Westfield. Where you live, Sophie?
I live in Burnsville.
Burnsville, where's that?
15 minutes from Morristown.
10 minutes from Morristown, a little south of?
West.
West of, yeah, okay. But all we're trying to do is little rapport builders. That's absolutely it. What else did it say? Okay, education. How many of you got a college degree? 1, 2, 3. No, that's not a degree. Some is not a degree. Some is not a college degree. Who got their hand up? You got your hand up? You got your hand up? Where'd you go to school?
The bride and color.
The who?
The bride and color.
Okay. The Rye, okay. All right. But you think you could talk about going to college?
Yeah.
Sure. Where'd you go?
Rutgers.
Rutgers, big R.
Too bad Nicola's not here.
Huh?
She graduated at Harvard.
Well, that's all right.
That would be something.
That's all right. I graduated from the university. So, I mean, you know. Huh?
Yeah.
I graduated from the university. And if you have to ask which one, then you're not. No, University of Virginia. I got 2 degrees from University of Virginia. Don't ask me how I got them, but I got them. All right? I was going on the farm. I was going to farm. And I was playing semi-pro baseball, and the guy was catching. I was standing there at the plate. I was 15 years old. The guy looked up and he said, "You going to school when you get?" No, I'm not going to school. I'm going to farm. He said, "You can play. You ought to go to school." And he was the assistant baseball coach at University of Virginia. And that's how I got in there. I wasn't smart enough to get in there, but I got in there. But after I got in, I managed to stay. So anyway, you can talk about, that's something else you can talk about, education. How about family? Whew. Anybody got family? Want to talk about your kids? Anybody want to talk about your kids? That's a good one. That's a really good one. You got kids?
Of course, yes.
Of course. Little ones, big ones?
She is 9 years old. God willing, she'll be 10 in just a couple of weeks.
Okay. So we can talk about kids, right? I got 3. 2 girls and a boy right now. All of them got college degrees, all of them got good jobs, and none of them ever called me and asked me for anything. Success. Which leads us to the next thing. How many of you have ever done anything successfully in your life?
No.
Anything. Huh? Lewis, you ever done anything successful in your life?
Still waiting for it.
We're getting there though, aren't we, bud? We're getting there. Yeah, I'm still using that line. Had a Christmas party last year, had 5 people there. Had a Christmas party this year, had 80 people there. Is that progress?
Yeah, it's progress.
So if you've ever done anything successfully in your life, you ought to be able to talk about it a little bit. And it's not bragging. It's not bragging. All right? If you can do it, it ain't bragging. All right? So that's another thing. Oh, can you talk about what you did before real estate? How many of you can talk about that? You had a job. I assume some of you had a job before you got in this business, right? You worked somewhere, and you may have worked somewhere successfully, right? Talk about it. You haven't, because it's only 19. He's the only 19 now, right? He's the only 19-year-old in the real estate business, I think.
Tom, he tried to use that seems like forever.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, or the gentleman's like, no, seriously.
Seriously? Seriously? Hey, seriously? I'm brand new in the business. And you've probably already interviewed others who've been in the business for a while, right? And some of those probably got 10, 12 listings. Oh, yeah, they did great. So you're going to get 1/12 of their time. With me, while you list your house with me, you're going to get all of my time trying to sell your house. How's that sound to you? Harry knows I got an answer for everything. All right? So where are we going from here? Talk about your kids. All right? In my personal resume, I would have pictures of my kids. If I had kids, I'd have pictures of them. And I'd talk about them. I'll even talk about my grandkids, you know. I got an 18-year-old grandson who's in his first semester in college. First semester, he had a 3.85 grade point average. Right after he got his grades, he finished his flight school and he got his pilot's license. And the end of January, he's going to help work for his daddy, so he's getting the real estate license by the end of January. So he's doing pretty good. Turned down football scholarships everywhere just to be a student. He's 6'7" and 260 is about what he weighed when he played football in high school. So anyway, so you can talk about a lot of things like that. Okay, what else? Like I said, anything you ever did successfully. How about this one? This one is important. Any of you ever volunteered to do anything? I wish Nicole was here. You know, Nicole does all sorts of that stuff. We spent a lot of time at the Christmas party talking about her giving away coats for Christmas. Remember that? She did it. She does it. She does it. Here's a woman that's got a couple of little kids of her own. Goes out, gets clothes for the homeless. That sort of stuff. Any volunteer work, I want to tell you, sellers like that. Sellers like that, and they like to talk to you about that. So if you haven't volunteered for anything, it might be a good idea to get involved in a little something, whatever it might be. All right? Myself, I do some. I don't do as much as I should. I'm not into it anymore. I'm old and retired. But if I were doing this business, I would be into it. So, and guess what? I like you because you do volunteer work. I might list my house with you. You follow? That's where it goes. Okay, one that's not up here. How many of you do something for fun? Anybody got any fun things you do? Jim. You and I right here. 5 days a week. The gym.
He's in there too.
Huh? Yeah, she said she was. Yeah. How many of you got a fun thing that you can talk about? That you can talk to a seller about? How many of you got a fun thing you can talk to a seller about, or something you do for fun? Yeah. Nobody? You don't do anything for fun? I do. All right. No, but if the point I'm making here is develop it. Be able to talk about it. Be able to talk. You do anything for fun?
Actually, I don't.
It's too bad.
Talk about food. Cooking.
Huh?
Cooking.
Cooking? Yeah, sure.
Food. Everyone loves food.
Yeah, everyone loves food. I'm married to a nutritionist. Do I love food? Yeah. I eat whatever she sits in front of me. And she says, that's got X number of calories. You can't have a second helping of that, and blah, blah, blah. I know. But you can talk about anything like that. Anything that you do that's not related directly to the business. They got to like you. It's a job interview. They got to feel good about you professionally. Now, if I were doing this, and I came in here you came in here next week, guess what's going to happen next week? Guess what's going to happen next week? Get up here and tell me who you are. You're going to get up here and tell me who you are. Think you can do that? By next week? You couldn't right now. Can you get up here right now and tell me all about you? You sure? You're positive?
Yes.
Want to do it?
Sure.
Huh?
There's time.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll leave it till next week because we got a lot to do. But the point I'm making again is you got to have a resume. And it's for most of you, it's not related directly to real estate. Nobody in here can say, I've been in real estate for 25 years. I've listed 300 houses. I know a lady like that. I know a lady that can tell you she's been in the business in Westfield for 30 some years and she's listed 300 houses or whatever the heck it is. I don't even know. But you can't do that. You're new. You're new for the most part. So they got to learn to like you professionally. All right. So what else? How long you been in the business? We talked about, Harry just mentioned that. How long you been in the business? How long you been in the mortgage business?
Since 2005.
2005, that's pretty good. That's, 12 years, okay. 13 years. How long you been in the real estate business?
Seems like forever.
You got the right answer. I was wondering if he's going to give us the right answer. Seems like forever. You can start with that. No, seriously, how long you been in it?
Telling you age well.
Huh? No, seriously. No, seriously, I want to know how long you've been in. What did I just give you? What did I just give you a while ago? If you were listening, what did I just give you a while ago for an answer to no? Seriously, how long have you been in it?
The other listing agent may have 12 listings, but you only have one, so you can give them,
all of
your time instead of 112.
Yeah, right. And so, can you remember to say that, Harry?
Absolutely.
Sure, you can. Sure, you can. Absolutely, you can.
Take negatives, make them positives.
Absolutely, but have an answer for this stuff. All of this basic stuff, have an answer for it. So everybody's going to come in here next week with a resume. All right? And if you're really good, you're going to come in here with it written up and color pictures and all that stuff that you can, this is me. If you're really good. If you're not really good, then you're going to come in here and be able to talk about yourself a little bit. And then if you're bad, you're going to say, I didn't do it. Okay? All right, where are we going from here? Enough of that. As we said, all of this stuff starts back from the beginning with lesson 1. Most of you, some of you were in here with me from the very beginning, and you have this. All right? All right? What else? Some of you, we might have to go out here and get a few run off in a minute because your hand is up. Okay. All right, let's talk about what's in lesson 1 because we're going to begin at the beginning. All right. We will begin at the beginning. Day 1, lesson 1, why do people fail in business? Why do people get in real estate and then get out of real estate? There's a couple things about this business you got to understand from the beginning. Nobody is going to hand you a paycheck on Friday, and that's all you're worth. That's one of the things I loved about it when I first started, because I spent my whole life with somebody handing me a paycheck, telling me what I was worth. It didn't matter if we won 3 football games or all 10 of them. They handed me the same paycheck every couple of weeks. So, all right. A lot of people fail in the business because they just don't have a personality for the business. If you can't, and this is one thing I hate about all of these damn cell phones and computers and all that stuff. We're developing a society of people that can't talk to each other. We are developing, and I really believe that, we're developing a society of people who can't talk to each other. Now they can do this, right? But can they make eye contact with you on a regular basis and learn what you're thinking by looking you in the eye and talk directly to you in a normal conversation? Some of them can't. And some people just naturally can't. If you can't talk to people, get out of business. Real simple. If you can't talk to business, get out of the business. All right, the next one there says they don't have proper work ethic. This is a job, people. This is a job. You got to work at it. You got to work at it. You got to put in the time. The hardest thing to do is to plan. The hardest thing to do in this business is to plan your work week. How many of you can tell me what you're doing Thursday morning? This is Monday. Tell me what you're doing Thursday morning. One person in here. You can't.
She's cheating. She's looking on her phone.
That's where my calendar is.
That's right.
Yeah, but
I
you're
can
saying off
tell
the
you-
head.
Yeah,
I know
that's
that I have 3 realtor meetings on Thursday morning.
Okay.
There you go. There you
Who
go.
they are.
Now we're keeping it real. She's about
Now the rest
I
of
don't
you.
know who they are. I have to look to remember.
All right. So the rest of you. So all right, Harry. So the rest of you, basically, if I said, "What are you doing Thursday morning?" Well, I don't have any appointments. I don't have any business. I don't have anything in this business. Follow? Guess what? We're going to talk about cold call prospecting here after a while. This office does an amazingly good job, I think, of cold call prospecting. Of course, some of you pay somebody in the Philippines or something to make the calls for you. But right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, hey, nothing wrong with that. It's a contact sport, and it's just all in the game. All right. Another one says they don't study the business. Whew. They don't study the business. How many of you can tell me what new listings are in Scotch Plains last week? Nobody. Nobody. How many of you can tell me what new listings are in Fanwood last week? Nobody. So if you went out here on an appointment and somebody says, what the house up the street just went on the market and how much they want for that? Well, I'll have to look it up, right? You got to study the business on a regular basis. And I think a lot of people, more so than a lot of offices, I think a lot of people, and Lewis, this is what I'm talking about, I think a lot of your guys study the business and know what's going on in the business and make the calls and all that kind of stuff. I think they're doing it. I think you're doing an amazing job with getting them on the phone.
Yeah.
There's 2 guys the other day, and neither one of them are here today. 2 guys the other day came in dressed like they just come from milking the cows. Right? And they making calls. And they got a listing appointment. And they didn't, who was it?
Carlson Derek?
Yeah. And they didn't know what to do and so forth. It was funny as hell. They had their name tag on. Well, like I said, they look like, like I said, they was home on the farm milking cows and all that. But they had this listing. They got this listing appointment with this guy. Well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I said, just go over there and tell him that you weren't planning on going out on an appointment today. Apologize for how you dressed, et cetera, and go from there. So they went. And I came back, and the guy wanted to talk to him about paying a seller 2.5%, and he wasn't listing with anybody and all that sort of stuff. Anybody know the answer to 2.5%? You know the answer to that? Would you?
Would you pay for laughing?
Huh? No. That, well, you can do that, but that's not. Let me ask you. You have a job. You have a regular job. Is that right, Harry?
You take a 20% pay cut?
No. Yeah, that's exactly right. Would you take a 17% pay cut? 17%. Would you take a 17% pay cut to do the job you do?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So would you rather work with people that'll give you your full salary?
Absolutely.
Sure. I'm sorry, we don't take 2.5%. We don't take 5% listings.
Usually when you throw that at them, usually they do one of the scratch their head and it makes them think.
Yeah, it makes them think about it because they don't realize. See, they think, and then you can do the dollar bill thing with them if they get into the commission thing. Remember the dollar bill thing? How many of you know the dollar bill thing? We'll talk about that for a second. You know the dollar bill thing? You know the dollar bill thing?
I know the penny.
Huh? Yeah, you know the penny one, but you don't know the dollar one. I don't even have a dollar in here, but that's all right. All right. You remember this? You don't remember?
Seen it. I've seen him do it.
You've seen him do it. Everybody know how to do it? This 6% commission, this is all of it right here. All right? List your house for 6%. Selling side gets 6%. Buying side gets 6%. So we get, me and my company, we get 3%, right? We get half of that, right? I got to split that with my company, so I get that, right? That's my commission. I got to pay, what do I have to pay? Realtor fees, licensing fees, advertising fees, gas from a car, got 2 kids in college, whatever. And there's what I'm getting to sell your house. And you're asking me for a part of that? All? Makes sense. Learn to do it. It's just a trick. Learn to do it. Learn to do it. What's the next thing on here say? Next thing says,
Don't practice dialogue.
Don't practice dialogues. Hey, I want to tell you, I learned in the beginning from a guy named Jerry Bresser. I went to several of Jerry, he's been long gone by now, but Jerry Bresser's whole thing was dialogues. Everything. Some words you never use. Right? Give me an example, Harry. Words you never use. Like, no, not those. Okay. How much you want to get for your house?
Top dollar.
Huh? Would you ask somebody how much you want to get for your house? I wouldn't. If I was talking on a listing appointment, I wouldn't. Huh? How much would you like to list your house for? And then we work off of that. Because they always up it, right? So Jerry Bresser taught nothing but dialogues, and he said you say them just exactly like you're supposed to say them, nothing else. It's the only way to say them. So, but people don't practice. I've been doing this for 3 months or so now. I've had guys that come in like him, who can answer questions, and like him, who can answer questions, and a few others of you. And the rest of you haven't practiced, and don't practice. You practice, Sophie?
A little bit.
How little bit?
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit. We're going to change all that for a lot of... See, what Lewis has asked me to do is change the whole process, the whole attitude of a lot of people. Get them to work. That's what you want me to get them to do, right, Lewis? If they're not going to work, it's no use for us to stand up here and do this. So, you got to practice the dialogues. You got to learn what to say. You got to learn what to say in certain situations all the time. Okay. Some people can't do this business because they can't handle rejection. You like rejection? You like rejection, Heidi? No. Nobody likes rejection, right? And in this business, you're going to get rejection. You ever gotten rejection in this business?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You're going to get rejection in this business. It's part of the business. You have to learn to deal with it. And the way I dealt with it when I started, man, I had it. The first year I was in this business, I made no dollars. None. Started in, I think, in May. And between that and the end of the year, I made no money. Because I was looking for listings at the racetrack and the ball games and things like that. All right? So I made no money. And I got rejected so many times. I had a listing appointment with almost $1 million house in Westfield. This was in 1988, 7. Okay? And I thought I was going to get the listing. I really did, because I did a good job, all that sort of stuff. They actually told me, the husband said, we're going to list with you. We're not going to do it yet, we're going to list with you. Well, what they really were saying is we're going to interview others. And I didn't know the answer to that question. I didn't know how to handle that. And so guess what? They listed to somebody else for more money. They listed for more money than we told them they could get for the house. So I didn't get it. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Okay, how about try this one? This is just a classic example. What did I just say about they listed with somebody else? They didn't tell me they were going to what? Come on. They didn't tell me they were going to interview others. Right? Mm-hmm. And Lewis, I think we talked about this one day in class where you said, well, sometimes we get people that tell me that, we're not going to do anything yet, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the usual real thing what they say is that we're going to interview others. So what are you going to say, Harry? I'm going to interview somebody else. What are you going to say?
I'm going to show them why they shouldn't.
How? You've already shown them. You've already done your little listing dog and pony show. How are you going to? So now, what are you going to say? Just what are you going to say? Nothing about showing them anything. Just what are you going to say? Something like this. I can appreciate the fact that you want to interview others. Most people do. Just make sure that when you interview somebody else that they don't buy the listing by giving you an exaggerated listing price. Make sure they show you just what they're going to do to market your home, just like we've done. They got to show you what they're going to do to market your home. Does that make sense? Make sense?
You can throw the other one out too.
Huh?
That other realtors will tell you what you want to hear to get your listing.
Absolutely.
But I'm the agent that's going to tell you what you need.
No. You missed a word. Show. You got that one? You got that one? Some people are going to tell you what you want to hear and probably get your business. I'm going to show you what you need to see and risk losing your business. Which would you rather me do? Tell you what you want to hear or show you what you need to see? You got that one? Mm-hmm. Did you? Good for you. She's way ahead of us.
I just use that with the client.
Yeah, she's way ahead of us. All right, where are we going from here? What to expect from the training program? Okay, hey, don't expect all lecturing. We do too much of that. Next week we get into this portfolio stuff. We're going to do less of that. And there's going to come a time when we get the other part of the building finished over here where we're going to be doing one-on-ones with you. And my one-on-ones, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to sit down and say, you want to list my house? Go ahead. Right, and then we're going to one-on-one and one-on-one and one-on-one for an hour at a time. We're going to start that. All right. Okay, it says here you're going to learn to use dialogues. Some of you that have been with me already know that. You got to learn the daggum dialogues. You absolutely must learn the dialogues. All right? You're going to learn to use dialogue tracks. How many of you know what I mean by a dialogue track? This is what a dialogue track is. They say this, you say that. They respond that way, you respond this way. They say yes, you say this. They say no, you say that. You learn dialogue tracks. Remember those of you that did our open house class? We had dialogue track in there, didn't we? And you followed it, hadn't you? And it works. It does. They keep on talking to you. You're going to learn dialogue tracks. All right, what else are you going to learn?
Yes.
If you don't practice, doesn't mean a thing. If you don't practice, doesn't mean a thing. How many of you got a mirror at home? Huh? How many of you can? Huh? You really do? Do you? I did too. I guess.
I said that means you got a lot more practice than with all the mirrors.
With all the mirrors?
No
Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah, you stand up. You got the full length mirror on the back of the closet door?
It's not in the back of the closet door. It's right in front of my bed.
It's right in front. Okay, and so you're going to stand there every morning and do all this, right? All right. Point being, with a mirror, take a mirror and practice. Practice these dialogues in front of a mirror. Practice these dialogues in front of a mirror where you can actually see what the seller is seeing. All right? If you haven't done that, try it. Actually works. I used to do this kind of these training programs for the big company, and used to do it in front of a lot of people. I was scared to death. First big one I ever did, I think it's 1,400 people there. And it was behind the stage, a curtain. And I'm getting all set up back there, man, I'm ready to go. And they opened that curtain and I looked out there, my God. Women out there with jewelry hanging all over them and everybody, and all of them got their pen and their pad and everything. And I said, my God, I can't believe these people paid this kind of money to come and listen to me. Are you kidding me? Listen to me? Country song gun. But they did. And it made me get better. Right after that, I got a lot better because I started practicing a lot. All right. Okay, where are we now here? Learn to use dialogue tracks. None of this means anything if you don't practice. Once a week training possibly. And there's going to be some one-on-one practice. Okay? This is another thing about this stuff. If I were really in this program, and I notice we've had a lot of this, because I look back at the sign-in sheets. We've had a lot of this. Somebody comes one week and next week they're not here, and then they come another week and, they're not here. And, about once a month I show up and all that. You can't, that's no way to do it. That's no way to do it. You got to get involved in it and stay in it. You got to get involved in it and stay in it. All right, let's go to page 2. Everybody uses a day planner of some kind, I'm sure. You popped yours right out there, didn't you? Everybody uses a day planner. You got to have a day planner of some kind in this business. You got to have a day planner of some kind in this business. You got to plan your days. You can't just hop in, I'm in real estate whenever I feel like going over there. You can't do that, okay? All right? And when you put together a day plan, do you always put in real estate and non-real estate activities? You always do that. For example, if I had a dentist appointment Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock, is that in your day planner? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You always start, actually, with your activities that are non-real estate related, that are fixed. Fixed appointments. Put those in. And then you work all this stuff around it all the time. But you cannot just get up in the morning and say, well, what am I going to do today? Can't do it that way. See, that's one thing I like about retirement. I wake up in the morning, I look up at the ceiling, and other than Mondays, I say, what do I not have to do today? Okay? What do I not have to do today? I don't have to do anything I don't want to do except Mondays and other days that I'm working on this stuff. All right? Do you follow a daily schedule? Everybody follow some kind of a daily schedule? I hope, right? I hope. Well, if you don't, this is what this handout's all about. You evaluate your success based on the amount of time you spent in the job. It's really funny. Harry came in here at the beginning, and you came in here at the very beginning. They have been here 99.9% of these training classes. And guess what? Harry, you're making a few dollars, right? Yeah. Making a little money, right? Yeah. You think you'd be making any money if you just said, if I want to go down there, I'll go down there and do this. Or, I haven't got time for that today, blah, 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 blah. No. You can't. You got appointments. And you plan them. And you work them. And that's important. You got this business doesn't work unless you're talking to people. It does not work unless you're talking to people. All right? Okay. Explain fixed and flexible activities. We pretty much did that. Okay. 30-day calendar handout. Well, we don't use that anymore. You got everything on a little phone or something, But I used to plan them about a month. Some people do it differently. I planned a month. I've always planned a month at a time. What do I have to do in January? Okay. Put in all my fixed appointments. Then I looked at all of the other time that I had, which is always amazing to me. If I put in my fixed appointments and I looked at all of the other time that I have that I could be doing something in this business, but I wasn't. All right? You need to fill in that time. Okay, don't worry about that. Use a pencil and all that. Okay. All right, discuss following real estate prospecting activities. Don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret agent. Like I said, you put that name tag on and you wear that thing. Have any of you ever worn your real estate name tag and run into somebody that said, you sell real estate? Huh? Anybody ever said to you sell real estate? They have, haven't they? Sure they have. You know what? Would they say anything to you if you didn't have your name tag on?
Nothing.
No. Nothing. Do you sell real estate? That happened to me in the grocery store about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I said, no, but I know people that do. And then we talked a little bit about what I did and all of that stuff. And then you learn dialogue from it. Holy moly. You learn dialogue from it. Huh. You sell real estate? Yeah, I do. Give me dialogue, Kofi. Yeah, I do. All right, yeah. You said to me, I said to you, do you sell real estate? And you said, yes, I do. And then what did you say next?
Looking to buy stuff.
Huh? No. What did I say next? See? You drew a blank then. Huh? So when I said, do you sell real estate? And you said, yes, I do. And then you said nothing. And I looked back at you and I said, this woman has no idea what the hell she's doing. Right? Here's the answer. Do you own a home? Yeah, I sell real estate. Do you own a home? Do you?
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever thought about selling it?
5 years.
Yeah. Have you ever, I didn't say, do you want to sell it?
In 5 years.
I said, have you ever thought about selling it? You get it? Some of you have gotten all this before, right? And you're learning to do it. You've done some of this before. Some of this stuff we're talking about, you've done before, right? Sure. You ever thought about selling it? Yeah. Well, yeah, we thought about it. Well, what's the next question? She answered the question before I gave it to her. What's the next question? When? When do you think of selling? Oh, what might they say now? We might do it when? If there's,
Well,
huh? In the spring, absolutely. Man, I wouldn't think about selling a house in weather like this, but we might do it in the spring. We might do it in the spring. Okay. Now you got an answer for that? What's the answer, Sophie?
Why wait till spring? What?
Well, that's a good one. But you got to tie something to it. What's that one thing that I said you can always talk about that they listen about? No. What's the one thing? It's an S with two little marks down through it. Huh? Money. Absolutely. They'll always talk to you about money. You say you might sell this spring? Well, if I could show you how we get the most money possible for your house by selling it earlier in the spring, getting ahead of the market, would you be interested in talking about that? Would you? Great. When? Close. See, all we're trying to do is get you to talk. Okay. Telephone prospecting. Hey, we got a dialogue for that in the back of this thing. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Open house prospecting. We're going to have a class on that. Absolutely. Community involvement. You got to be a joiner of some sort. You got to let people know. You got to get a way to meet people. Okay, real estate related activities. The company that I worked for formerly this was their thing. Of course, they were big and huge and could do it on a large scale, but did a lot of mailings. A lot of things. The key here is, like we said, don't be a secret agent. All right? Bottom of the page says, let's talk about telephone prospecting. Why don't real estate agents telephone prospect? Why don't real estate agents telephone prospect?
Scared.
They're scared. Absolutely. What are they scared of, Lewis? Rejection. Absolutely. Every time. I don't want to do that. And they compare themselves to all these deadgum phone calls you get from some people calling you trying to sell you something. I like the ones that start out with, how are you this evening? You ever get those calls? They don't tell you who they are. It's, good evening, Mr. Alamo. How are you this evening? I got a standard answer for that. And they hang up always. I'm terminally ill. I expect to be dead in 60 days. I'm serious. I don't want to talk to these people. If you can't tell me who you are and what you're selling, I'm not going to talk to you. Do you think they give a damn about how are you this evening? They don't care nothing about you, right? So, all right, why don't they do it? One thing that gets them to do it, and we've already found this out, LIMS people, particularly LIMS girls are doing it. If they got a dialogue and they got it sitting right in front of them of what to say, they'll do more of it. They'll do more of it. If I know exactly what to say, when I get on there, they'll do more of it. And we got a little part of this in the end. All right? Discuss the importance of learning dialogues. Well, we've already said that. Okay. Let's do. All right, and see the bottom of page 3. There's one thing on the bottom of page 3 we want to look at a little bit. Evaluate what you've done. What got you in front of people? What didn't? The bottom of page 3. Evaluate. Always evaluate what you have done. I spent almost 30 years coaching high school football, and boy, did we evaluate every year. Every year we sit down in the summertime and evaluated to get ready for this fall. You got to evaluate what you're doing. All right. So last month, did I do any open houses? Yeah, I did 2. Follow right along the dialogue. I did 2 open houses. I met 9 people at 2 open houses. I recontacted 5 of them. I got an appointment with 1 of them. Right? Follow? You got to evaluate what you're doing. All right. Neighborhood calls. Well, this is one thing that I think is lacking with a lot of people in this business now. If I listed a house, and this is going to be in the portfolio that we're going to talk about, the listing manual. If I listed a house, what's the first thing I'd do after I got it listed? After I got the listing, what's the first marketing tool I'd use?
Sign.
Sign. What's the next one? Call the neighbors. Call the neighbors. Guess what? You gotta contact the neighbors. You know why? They might know somebody that's interested in living in the neighborhood. You never know. But really what you're looking for when you do that, that's not what I was looking for. I'm not looking for anybody living in the neighborhood. I'm looking for somebody else who wants to sell their house. Because you call a neighborhood and the neighbor says, how much is it on the market for? It's on the market for $369,000. How's this house compare to your house? Oh, well, ours was much nicer. Oh, well, I guess you'd expect to get more for yours. How much would you like to get for yours? Oh, we'd have to have at least $400,000. Great. Have you ever thought about selling it? Does that sound like something we just said a while ago? You own a house? You own a house? Mm-hmm. You ever thought about selling it? That's all I want to know, honey. Have you ever thought about selling it? Right? Absolutely. You own a house, Sophie? Nope. You own a house?
Yes.
You ever thought about selling?
Yes.
When do you think of selling?
5 years.
Okay, in 5 years? So in 5 years you expect to get more money for it then than you will get now?
No.
Okay. But anyway, you see how easy that is? Do you own a house? Have you ever thought about selling it? Not do you want to sell it. Have you ever thought about selling it? All right. What else is on there? Neighborhood calls. Sphere of influence contacts. How many of you got a sphere of influence? How many of you know 100 people that know you're in the real estate business? How many of you know 100 people that know you're in the real estate business? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. What did we say a while ago? Don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret agent. You can't be a secret agent. You gotta let people know you're in the real estate business. And you can't just call them every couple of years to remind them. There are people who actually want to know what's going on in the real estate business. You know, that's the funny thing about real estate. Not everybody, but a lot of people are really interested in real estate. You own a house? Right? You don't care what it's worth, do you? Huh?
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Everybody does. Everybody does. Lewis owns a house. Lewis doesn't care what it's worth. Do you?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Not selling it.
No, I'm not selling it. I don't care what it's worth. You know, if the market goes to pot and it's worth 10% of what I paid for it, doesn't make any difference. Okay? All right, where else are we going? Well, if I were in this business, I would be a listing agent. We've got a few people that like to be buyer's agents. I never liked riding around in my car with a couple of buyers. You know, I never liked that. It was not my idea. Because here's the secret. When you're a listing agent, you've got listings. You've got a contract with them. When you're a listing agent, you're employed. When you're working for a buyer, you're unemployed. They can get out of your car and go across the street over here somewhere and buy a house from somebody else. But when you're a listing agent, you're employed. When you're a buying agent, you're unemployed. But you got to work with buyers too. I realize that. But here's the key. You don't build this company. This company's not going to be built on buyers, right, Lewis?
No.
No, can't be. Impossible. Can't do it. So, FSBO contacts, expired contacts. We're going to talk about those. What kind of results do you get from all of it? On the right side, it says results. Sales, list. How many listings do you get? I mean, you know, if I were in the business and I didn't get a listing a month, if I were in the business and I didn't get a saleable listing a month, I wouldn't be considered in the business. All right? I got to have a listing a month. Guess why? Think of a funnel. Think of a funnel. Up here's the funnel. All right? What goes in the top of it? What goes in the top of this funnel? Everybody knows what a funnel looks like, right? I'd probably even draw one. What goes in a funnel? Listings. Listings, prospecting activities, all of that stuff goes in up here. What's supposed to come out down here for you? Huh? Okay, so here's how some people work. Oh, I got a closing in 2 weeks, and they go out and spend the damn money before they get to the closing. That's happened before. That happened to me. Happened to a lot of people. You know, I mean, God, I sold it. The biggest house I sold when I first started was $400-some thousand, I think it was. And shoot, man, I was at the racetrack for 2 weeks after that. All right? No, you got to keep feeding the activities, because some of them are never going to learn, never going to get to there. Right? So you got to start feeding the activities. Feed the activities. Do it over and over and over and over again. All right, so where are we? Where are we? Look on page 4. Okay. We're going to talk about telephone prospecting for a little bit. And we're going to close it out for today because we're going to do this other thing next week. All right. Like I said, more people are more likely to telephone prospect if they have a dialogue sitting right in front of them, like Lim's girls in there do. They got a dialogue sitting right in front of them, so they know what to say. It's important to know what to say. This whole business is about what to say. That's what we're talking about. So you should have come in the door and said, "I'm sorry, I'm late." All right? So where are we going? Step 1, greeting. You follow along? I would learn to say this all the time. Good evening, Mr. So-and-so. Okay. You might say, you know, who am I speaking to or something like that. Do not say, "How are you this evening?" Because they might say, "I'm terminally ill." All right? Identify yourself. Now, most of these people who telephone prospect, most of them do not identify themselves when they start talking to you, do they? You agree with that? They don't say, "I'm so-and-so from the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation," or any of that kind of stuff usually. They just start talking. So, here we go. Good evening, Mr. So-and-so. My name is so-and-so from Cultural States. All right? Don't try to fool anybody. All right? The next big word. Step number 3. What's the big word in number 3? Quick. The purpose of my call this morning, or this evening, or this afternoon. The purpose of my call is, and you better have the purpose defined. Have the purpose defined. And not say, you don't say, "Well, the reason I'm calling you." The purpose of my call this evening is I'm looking for people in your neighborhood who'd like to sell their house. Have you ever thought about selling your house, for example? Follow? Nope, I'm going to die here. Thank you very much. Click. All right? When there's obviously nothing there, see if you can beat them to the hang up. See if you can hang up before they do. Okay? Easy enough? Easy enough? Ask a real estate related question. Well, right there it is. Have you ever thought about selling your home? You own a home? Yeah. I'd say this. If I didn't say this 8 or 10 times a day, I don't know what I'd say. Do you own a home? Yeah, we do. Have you ever thought about selling it? I'll say that over and over and over, but on the phone too. It's part of the telephone prospecting. All right. If you get a positive response to step 4 question, close for an appointment. A lot of people don't do that. You got to learn to close. This is a closing kind of business. You got to learn to close. You think of selling your house? Yeah, we're thinking of selling our house. Well, when can I see it? All right. Well, what do you want to see my house for? Well, if somebody said, "Why would you want to see my house?" What would you say back to them? Anybody? I'm tired of talking. You talk. Huh? What would you say back to them? When can I see your house? And they said, "Why do you want to see my house?" What are you going to say? Nobody knows. God, I'm telling you. I don't know. I'm trying to see if anybody's breathing in here today. Huh? That might be one of them. You might say, "I've got buyers who are looking for a house in your neighborhood." That might be one of them. Absolutely. What would you like to see my house? You might use that one. What's the thing up here that I said we can really always talk about? So you think of selling your house? you let me see your house, I'll look at your house and possibly I can tell you how to get the most money possible for it. You interested in getting the most money you can for your house? No, I don't care about getting the most money I can. What do you think you know damn well what they're going to say. All right? You just got to smooth all of this out. Now, Lynn's got people in there that are making phone calls for her. And she's been practicing some with them. And they're getting the dialogues and they're working on it. All right? All right. If you get a negative response to step 4 questions, close for a callback. Well, once in a while you can close for a callback. Would you mind if I gave you a callback from time to time, keep you updated on the real estate news in the neighborhood? Some of them will say yes, some of them will say no. If they say yes, you put them on a list, call them back every month or so. You doing that? Yeah, I know you are. All right. And what else does it say? Always finish client, thank you for your time, click. Okay. How many of you can do this? How many of you, if I said go in there and pick up the phone and do it, how many of you could do it right now? How many? Nobody? Jesus. Boy, are we wasting, hey Lewis, we're wasting a lot of time. You know?
Anyone in here is still sleeping?
You know that, Lewis? We're wasting a lot of time. None of them said they could do it.
Carter could do it.
Huh?
Yeah, buddy, you can do it.
Yeah.
He's all for it.
Do it all.
All right. So much for that. We've got all of that. Now, that's about what we were going to talk about today.